Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining me tonight on this very special live edition of Magical Journey. This is going to be a hard one in a way because I got to tell you guys, this past week has been one of a lot. It's been one huge emotional roller coaster for a lot of people here in Tennessee, and especially those who were directly affected. So I feel like this is something that's needed. I'm hoping that the outcome tonight is one that's going to be beneficial for a lot of people before it's over with. And we're going to put some stuff out there that's needed to be said tonight, and hopefully get a very vital piece of information out there that you guys need to be aware of. So without further ado, I'm going to bring someone to the stage who is unfortunately very in the know about everything going on because his world is deeply affected by this right now. And that is Harley Owens, who all of you know very much at this point.
Hello, everyone.
Wow, my friend. They're probably going to start trickling in a little bit at a time here because some of them just got out of another live with me. And
I'm just grateful for everybody that's going to be tuning in tonight, and of course those that are going to watch us later, because I'm here from where all this devastation has happened to my community, surrounding communities, and it's like a whole different world here now. It's unbelievable.
So before we get into the big story here, give us a little idea of, like, geography wise, where we're talking about compared to, say, Gatlinburg and areas that more people are familiar with, because not everybody's familiar with you guys' area.
Yes, absolutely. So where me and my family are from, we live in Newport, Tennessee. So when you take Interstate 40 and you're almost into North Carolina, the Newport exit is right there. And so we're right there on the edge of North Carolina pretty much. And, this whole Appalachia mountain range essentially is just gone, or they're just picking up the pieces of what they can, and it's just utter devastation, and you have to just sit here and consider everything that's going on and keep everybody in your prayers, because somebody has lost a loved one, several loved ones for even that matter. And I'm just very fortunate and blessed that I took it upon myself to get my family out of here, because it all happened so quick. I'm talking in like a span of like 10, 15 minutes of leaving our house, not knowing if we were going to come back and our house is okay.
Daryl, thank you for joining us. I appreciate you coming on as well.
Appreciate you inviting me. I was called up Harley and talked to him for a minute. He's going through a tough time right now, like a lot of people are in East Tennessee and Western North Carolina and even parts of Georgia. So got to keep all those folks in our prayers and hopefully get some help to them. Kind of disturbing to see what's going on. Looks like our government would kind of help out a little more than they are. So I think we all have deep feeling for all those folks, especially that's my home state and where I've lived all my life. But even though all those people in that area, they all need a little help, so let's just keep them in our prayers and hope we can get some help to them.
Yes, absolutely.
Right.
100%. That's the biggest thing right now, help. That's the biggest thing that we need. But they're not letting people come in and help. And, if there's people already there trying to help, they're still not letting them help. So they have to take it upon themselves to just go out and help, and avoid being told not to help. It's a horrible, horrible mess. My neighbor, her brother is over in Burnsville, North Carolina, helping recover. He took horses over there, and they're out looking and helping. And he said that they got stopped by some government agents or somebody and told them that they needed to just leave and go back home. But they're still over there helping. So it's just a horrible, horrible mess here in East Tennessee and North Carolina.
I understand you need some type of, organization, but when you got people wanting to help other folks out, bringing in food and water and things, I don't understand why you're turning them back. So I'm with you on that, Harley. That makes no sense to me. So
no, it's unbelievable, and I never imagined, that would happen. And sure enough, it's happening, and the media is not talking about it one bit. They have their focus on whatever else is going on in the world and not what's impacting our states.
Yeah, I mean, I was elected official for 20 something years. I'm mayor in my county, and Martin Groves and I did a lot of these things. We would get together water and food and head out in the big truck and donate and drop off, even as far as different states back in the day. Everybody wanted to help out. So I don't understand how that works, but it looks to me like everybody should open up their arms and say, "Come on in, do what you can to help everybody." So I hate that it's happening that way, especially with so many people up there needing help.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, it's unbelievable, man. And there's more. There is a lot more that's going on that isn't being let out. I heard yesterday that they're stopping people that are coming in to Tennessee. FEMA and Red Cross, they're stopping people that are coming in, and they're confiscating everything that these people are trying to bring in to help.
wow, that's amazing.
It is a shady operation of what is going on, and I don't know why they're doing what they're doing, but it's happening, and we're seeing it. Everybody here is seeing it, and it's all over the Facebook groups and everything. And you just start asking the question, why? What is the big deal out of this, and what are they gaining from this?
I've seen the devastation there was unbelievable. I've seen so many pictures people sent to me, and live video and everything else of the actual moment it was taking place. And I don't think I've ever seen anything quite like that.
No.
No.
You never see a storm like this. I'm a lineman, and I work the storms and stuff, and I've never seen anything like this.
Like 27 inches of rain, I think you said. I've never heard of any place getting 27 inches of rain in a short period of time. So the city. I remember Nashville flooded back in 2010. All they got was 5 or 6 inches in 2 or 3 days, and you think about 27 inches of rain in that amount of time. That's hard to even think. But I'm surprised quite frankly, there weren't more people killed than we know of. And there may,
I mean, we truly, honestly don't. We probably won't ever know.
I agree with that. They're probably.
And I imagine that the numbers are way, way more than what's being showed on the media.
They are. Yeah, the numbers on the media is like. So, Daryl, let me ask you something. Do you see similarities between this and Katrina in a sense?
To be honest with you, I never was in Katrina, but I remember when it took place, down in New Orleans. It sounds real similar. It really does. But it almost sounds like it's a little worse because, when Katrina happened at that particular time, it was really focused around certain parts of Louisiana, mainly New Orleans, when the levee gave way or didn't hold. And, people were flooded, but we're talking about a completely different type thing here. It washed away complete towns. There was nothing left.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
I've seen live video of numerous mobile homes floating down the river, and supposedly people were inside of them. So,
right.
Devastation like I've never seen before. So,
yeah,
it's pretty frightening when you see those things. I can't imagine the people that were there at that time. And a lot of rescues were taking place, people jumping in and trying to save people. And, it was complete chaos in a time when it was just tragedy after tragedy. Nobody knew what to do. And this water was so fast that it hit these people before they even had a chance to even do anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, and like how we knew this was all going down. Me and my wife, we were sitting here hanging out with the kids. The kids didn't have school because they canceled due to the rain and everything. And our neighbor comes and knocks on our door. And she said, "Well, we need to evacuate. We need to get out of here." I was just in Food City, and the cops came running in, and they were telling everybody to get out, stop what they're doing. The dam broke, and there's a 100-foot wall of water heading for town.
Wow.
And she said that we need to evacuate and get out of here. And I took it upon myself. I had our suitcase packed with necessities in like 10, 15 minutes, and we were gone, heading to Middle Tennessee. We went out to Dixon, and
right.
When we got out there, I didn't think it was really going to be this bad. And I started looking at everything that was happening. And I looked at my wife and I said, "This is a devastation." And she said, "We're glad we left when we did." I'm like, "Yeah." I said, "If we hadn't left, who knows what would have happened, you know?" And it is just unbelievable. Everything that has just happened this past week, you know, and the waters, I think they're rising again, because when we went to my mother-in-law's house yesterday and the water looked like it had gone down, and when we went back over it today, I told my wife, I said, "That water's coming back up." And she said, "Yeah, it is, ain't it?" I was like, "Yeah." And it's just unbelievable what all is going down here, you know. And
well, on top of the fact, you know, that you and I were talking earlier, there's another hurricane forming out in the Gulf.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and that's the one thing that people really aren't getting out of this. You know, normally they form out in the ocean, they'll come in and affect Puerto Rico, Costa Rica, and all that stuff. And this thing just becomes a hurricane right in the Gulf, and it gets stronger when it hits land. Now, there you got to just ask yourself that question. You know, did this thing get made? You know, or however the case may have been that they controlled this thing, because this thing made a sharp curve and impacted all of us right here in the Appalachia.
Let me.
I would say it's probably the most devastating ever in that area. Or in Tennessee, period.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Let me draw you guys this picture. So what is in Florida and what's in Huntsville, Alabama, that have huge facilities?
Yeah, the aeronautics and you know, NASA center. You got a point there. You know, Hardy and I were talking
Both of those spots
before the show too. You know, it's pretty well known that, you know, North Carolina and Eastern Tennessee, those parts are one of the largest mines in the entire country for, you know, uranium and
lithium,
that type thing, you know, for building batteries for this clean energy and stuff. And it's also, I believe I'm correct, on the crystal base is also there too, with the type of crystal that is hard to find. So quartz, that's what it is, quartz, not crystal. So I don't know if it has anything to do with it or not, but it seems a little strange that
it is strange, you know, and you just connecting all these dots together, and it's like, that's what their game is here. They're trying to get in here and get this material that they need to get these electric cars out there, and hey, they're making money. That's their whole end game out of this.
Well, I know that what I read now, you know, it's hard for me to believe everything I hear on the media or the news or anything, and what I read may not be completely clear or correct, but when you got these major corporations trying to buy these people out for their property, and they won't sell, and then you have this kind of tragedy, you know, it kind of leaves an open door towards some of that. So
it does, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. You know, because you got to think, some of these people have lived there for generations, and now they have nothing.
Yeah, they lost everything. They truly did. They lost everything. I've seen several people today on the media talking about it. They don't have anything left. They lost it all. Car, home, everything. And the thing about it was, nobody in that area had flood insurance because they don't have floods that often.
Exactly right. Yes, there is no flood insurance here whatsoever.
Right.
because it doesn't
You're
happen.
in the mountains. Yeah, you're in the mountains.
You need flood insurance. So, it's just a biblical type thing almost of what's happened. It's something like I've never heard of anything like it. I never heard of 27 inches of rain in my life in a short matter of time.
Well, I talked to somebody and they said this hasn't happened in like over 100 years. So I mean, it's unbelievable. Like I'm still just trying to process everything that's happening and going on here, and just the fact that people are being stopped for trying to help, and that just really ticks me off.
I'm just kind of surprised. Well, maybe I'm not surprised. It looks to me like the federal government, the president, whoever would be down there trying to help people. We're still helping out other countries. We need to be helping out our own folks. So,
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah.
I don't have a problem with helping people out, but it's time to help out the people who need it here in the United States. And I don't understand so many people there. They don't have any water. They don't have a home. They don't have anything. And
exactly right. Only thing they got the clothes on their back and shoes on their
back. If
that even.
I haven't seen anything about the government helping, and I'm kind of concerned about that. It's been, 4 or 5 days now? We're going into...
It's been a week.
Yeah. So, and there's still, who knows how many people missing. I'm sure a lot of
I'd hate to even know that number.
Yeah,
like
a lot of those people will never be found.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
I
not
heard
at this
something
point.
that they said from a university over in Western North Carolina that there was over 10,000 people missing.
Wow, that's a massive number.
And they're letting these cleanup crews come in and bulldoze everything, and they're not letting people look for the bodies.
I seen something today about some area of North Carolina where it was just covered with coffins, where it washed out cemeteries, and these coffins had just funneled up into an area, and they were trying to get those out. So, hey, you hear a lot of things, and I don't always go by what I hear on media or everything, but it makes you wonder. Still, it makes no sense at all why they're not getting help from the United States government. I just don't understand that. So,
yeah.
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of a modern day great cleansing.
Yeah,
that may be a good way to put it.
That may be, yeah, absolutely.
England tried to do that to the hillbillies over there, and now we're trying to do it over here to the folks in the mountains here. And that's the thing of it. It's like I saw a video today of what you were talking about earlier about, like, it was raining and these folks were in their house, and he apparently heard something and pointed his phone toward the hills there, and you could just see it just comes rushing down. He's like, oh God, it's like they had no warning.
No, I'd say there's a great number of those people that didn't have a chance to even do anything.
Who's to think that there's people that didn't have a video and they just got washed away while trying to get it on video?
Well, I don't doubt that a bit. I think you're right, Harley. But I don't know. The only thing we can do now is try to get help for these people, and the government needs to step up and get on it right now, because
they won't.
100%.
A week, and there's. He was talking earlier. He's talking about, for me to get home, I have to take Interstate 40 when I'm out of state. And North Carolina's, Hardy was telling me earlier, it's I-40 shut down, I-26 maybe for 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, and 40 won't be back up through North Carolina till 2028.
Oh my gosh, you're talking about some rugged territory through there anyway. Those roads are built up almost like bank cars on a racetrack. They're built up so high off the mountain floor. So, I can't imagine. I don't know what they're going to do in that area.
75 and 81 are going to be horrible because of the traffic. Because you'll have to go up all the way up 81 and drop down through Virginia to get in North Carolina, and then you'll have to go down 75 into Georgia, and then go around into North Carolina.
That's definitely
Virtually all of East Tennessee is cut off from North Carolina.
yeah. Well, basically, you're talking about that part of North Carolina that I've known most of my life. The beautiful area there is completely even gone.
Yep.
So, where the Biltmore is at,
Yeah.
that whole area is pretty much what I understand
It's gone.
gone.
Wow. So the Biltmore is probably, wow.
I'd say it's gone. I would imagine that it
I don't
is.
know. I don't know if it is or isn't, but I can't see why it possibly couldn't be, because that whole area of North Carolina right there, I have a nephew that lives there, and he's okay, but it washed everything away that was up there. That's for sure. Anybody that was in the way, it did stop and wait on them. That's for sure. So,
But I seen a before and after picture of Chimney Rock.
yeah, I seen
That was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you got to think of all the people that were in those buildings, and when that came through, those people are gone.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're alive, it's a miracle.
Yeah. Asheville, North Carolina is a pretty populated area too. It's not.
Yeah.
It is.
And it's cut off to the rest of the world. And here's another thing. So these people that are trying to fly in with helicopters, right, and help people and get people out, they're being threatened to be arrested for helping.
Wow.
Yeah, I just heard that earlier from my neighbor. She was telling me that. I'm trying to figure out why this phone don't want to stay here. There we go.
I don't understand why they would even be doing that. It makes no sense.
It just brings more questions and answers and what is really going on here and what is their agenda, so to speak.
Well, I mean, if all that's true, then it's definitely they've completely abandoned those people. They're just trying to just run them out of there and not help them at all.
Yeah, the military has taken over apparently, and
I've seen a gentleman today on one of the videos that said the National Guard had pretty much taken over an area somewhere around a hospital that had went underwater, where they had rescued people off the top of a hospital building. I don't know exactly where that was at. I think
that was in Unicoi, Tennessee.
Okay.
I've seen that video. Yeah, that was in Unicoi. They had to evacuate everybody to the roof, and they had to get everybody out of there by the roof of that place.
It would be really good if we could find somebody that works with 911 or something within the TEMA and FEMA facility there in Franklin, Tennessee, that could give us some inside information.
They probably wouldn't. I really don't think they would.
There's
I'm surely not talking about. I don't like to talk bad about organizations, but I personally have never had a whole lot of luck out of FEMA. So in my day, and I'm sure a lot of people have had good luck out of them, but I've personally not had a lot of help.
The only help that we've got right now is essentially our communities and those that have been able to get in already before being stopped to help. That's the only thing we got. The ones in the community that are helping, and the ones that managed to get by those being stopped. And it's just a miracle that that the community come together like it has. I'll tell you, I've never seen a place come together like these people have, and the resilience of these people is unbelievable. And you can tell that tension is in the air because they know that there's something.
You know as well as I do, growing up in the country, Tennessee folks, and I'm sure other parts of the country too, but it's always about helping your neighbor out, and that's just the way they are in the country. So that makes a big difference when you're around those type of people. And that's the kind of people I grew up around. I mean, if your neighbor needed something, you got out and helped him out. It wasn't like you did it for. I remember my grandfather's barn burnt down, and the whole entire area showed up and built his barn back and didn't charge him a penny. They were just glad to do it.
Yep.
So, it's just the way folks are in the area that I live in Tennessee. So, and I hope it stays that way. It's just, good country folks just help each other out. They come together and work together and put things together. So, you know,
Mhm.
Oh,
that's the way I grew up anyway. I don't know if it's that way everywhere, but just the
oh
way
yeah, yeah. I mean, it was like that for me growing up where I did grow up. But I mean, I've never seen anything like this, because where I grew up right there below southeastern Kentucky and the state line of Tennessee, like Jacksboro, the Fall area. That's where I grew up, and I never experienced anything like what this was.
yeah,
And
I don't think
it's
anybody has. I've never seen anything
Mhm.
like what I witnessed. I mean, I've never seen it anywhere like that. It's just complete devastation.
yeah.
I mean, you're
There's
talking
only
about
been,
whole towns gone, just gone.
yeah, yeah.
You
There's
don't
only
see
been one
anything
other
like that really
time.
in Florida either. I mean, I've never
No,
seen anything like this in Florida. From all the
no,
hurricanes and stuff that I've worked, I've never seen anything like that happen in Florida.
Yeah.
no. I've only seen devastation on this scale one other time, and that was April the 3rd, 1973. Go back and research that. And it was centered around Huntsville, Alabama. I keep bringing that up because I'm telling you guys, these are manufactured storms. This is not a natural event.
Wow. I mean, I've been hearing that from a lot of people. It's just
Mhm.
like it's kind of
I
like
do.
it's almost like seeing my first Bigfoot. You know, it was life changing. I'm still having a hard time wrapping my mind around how they
Mhm.
make a manufactured storm. But the way the world is now, I'm sure there's probably a way to do that.
Oh, the technology's out there. Absolutely. I mean, there's a movie, and I've always believed that there's truth in science fiction movies. And there's this movie called Geostorm, okay, and they control the weather and everything. And I'm just like, man, thinking back at this now, I'm like, I've watched that movie, and man, I'm like, this has got to be happening in real life. And sure enough, this happens, and I'm just like, what the crap?
You know,
So,
I'm
Harley,
sure it's possible. I really am. I'm sure it is.
I'm sure it is. Our technology is
Yeah, sure it
unbelievable.
is.
yeah, there's things that they're doing that is way beyond the comprehension of people right now. But we also know about the black projects and so forth that's been going on for a long time. Harley, give us some idea as far as like what you're seeing right there in your area. You said that people are being turned away. Um, has there been a strong military presence there in your area yet?
I have not seen them on the ground, but
Mhm.
there's been plenty of helicopters flying around. I seen 8 um, yesterday that were flying around about 7:30, 8 o'clock. There was 7 or 8 of them that was flying around. They were just I don't know what they were doing. They were just flying around looking. I guess I don't know. I don't really know for certain what they were doing, but I know that for a fact over in North Carolina there is a heavy military presence.
That doesn't surprise me. So just to give you guys an idea who's watching, in case you don't know very much about some of these towns, Asheville in particular, there is a large number of local businesses. There were a large number of people whose livelihood revolved around those businesses. If they are still alive, hopefully they are. Their livelihood is gone. That town's revenue is gone. So, and who knows when or if it'll be built back. We don't know yet if those areas are even going to be inhabitable.
That's a very good point, and
That is a good point. Yeah.
I would doubt very seriously that some of those areas will be built back.
Well, I wonder this too. What if they say, "Oh, this area is radioactive" or something like that? Because if they go in there and they start digging this stuff up, and the area gets contaminated, that'd be a perfectly good reason for them to say you can't live here anymore.
Well, and
I guess anything's possible. I don't know. I never have thought about that part of it, but I guess anything's possible. If they're trying to run people out of there, I guess they'll come up with anything. But
Yeah, absolutely.
And there was a incident just days before this in the Smokies. You were talking about, Harley, the fire
Oh yeah.
that was caused by a lightning strike. Imagine that. My understanding is that there are some people that believe, and I'm one of those people, believe that that was actually a misstrike, that they were trying to hit a different area with that lightning bolt, and they hit one that was not a target for them, but it was enough to alert people that something was happening. They were trying to hit something over that way as well.
That very well could be the case. I mean, I'm not an expert in anything, and I am not going to claim to be. I ain't no meteorologist or nothing like that, but that is kind of fishy.
I don't put nothing past what we're dealing with right now anymore. I really don't. So
No.
I don't like to open my mind up or my mouth too much on things when I don't know for sure. But I will.
Yeah, that's me. That's me exactly. And I used to not think something was legit until I seen one, and then I started researching, and now here I am. Oh, weather's being manipulated and made, and I'm just like,
I know, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. I got these dogs making some noise, man. I appreciate y'all having me on. I'm gonna hop off of here, and thanks for having me. I appreciate you having me.
Thank you for coming on.
And
Thank
Harley,
you.
I'll be in touch with you, and I appreciate both of you letting me join in with you.
It was good to have you here with me, Daryl, and I love you, brother.
100%.
All right, love you, brother. Love both of you. So
Love you
appreciate y'all
too.
having me on, man. Thank you a lot.
Thank you.
Bye.
So the Biltmore Estates apparently did survive. It's mostly got wind damage. That's according to Michelle. Michelle, if you're still on, do you live in that area? I'm assuming so. Harley, here's the thing, and I kind of went to mention this in our conversation today. I have a few theories myself about what happened with this, based on the areas that were hit. This was definitely not a natural phenomena with the storm. We all know that. That's too obvious. If you really look at it, I really want to get a hold of one of our local meteorologists here in Nashville and ask her opinion on that, off camera, and see what Danielle Breezy says about that. She may have some insight, if they haven't programmed her lately, because she started out hitting it big after the tornado here a few years ago, 2020. So if she's still fairly grounded, maybe she'll give me some insight that we don't have yet as to. So right now it's not looking great. What are some of the immediate needs in your area? What are people really need?
I would definitely say water is the biggest thing. I know that the latest that we heard was it could be 6 weeks before the water comes back on because it's contaminated with chemicals, dead bodies, and who knows what else is in that water. It's just, and I would think some people would need food and some other things like that. I'm actually in the works of trying to get a list together of donation places, and for those that are willing to donate and want to help out and benefit a good cause, they can donate to these said locations. But with all this stuff that's been going on with people being stopped trying to get in and all this stuff, and it's just it just really, really irritates me that this is happening.
Right, right. Well, I mean, anybody is going to be frustrated by this information because, I got to tell you, I work in East Tennessee, not as much as I want to, but I work over that way. East Tennessee is part of our district. We go as far as Pigeon Forge. And I literally beg my folks all the time, please put me in East Tennessee. I don't care what you got going on. Just put me over there. It's about a 4-hour drive to some of those stores, but the people there have always been just the nicest, sweetest people. And they get excited when I come into town. They're like, I'm so glad you're here. And it's like, it's, you guys over there have a culture that's unlike any other I've ever seen anywhere. It's pure. It's down to earth. It's unbelievable. And I remember, like, my mom used to be terrified. She was like, I would ask her, I said, because they lived in Chicago all their life, or lived in Illinois. And, and my stepdad was black. And of course she was just terrified. She was like, I'm scared to come down there because, and I'm like, Mom, the people in Chicago are more prejudiced than the people here. Okay. You got to realize most of these people have indigenous bloodlines in their family. So they're already biracial and they know it, and they're okay with that. It's not what you think.
Right.
And I think the perception has always been, I mean, look at West Virginia. West Virginia has just been inundated with neglect because people are so misunderstood there.
Yep.
But the fact of the matter is, I mean, tell us about your daily life. You're a dad, you work, you're living in an area that is not exactly the cheapest place to live anymore.
No, it's really not. And my wife, she just actually lost her job. She got fired because we evacuated, and she went through the protocols that she had to do. Call in and let them know that she wasn't going to be there, and she did, and they fired her. So now she's looking for another job, and I am currently looking for another job now. I'm actually going to go to the union hall Monday and pay my dues for this new job. So I'll be working the union. I'll still be doing line work. So I'm very fortunate about that. And it just, the kids and everything, man. I raise my kids up. They're still little. And I want them to know that whenever they get bigger, treat others the way you would like to be treated, and that's how I was whenever I was growing up. I was taught to treat others the way I wanted to be treated, and just treat everybody with respect. And that's the biggest thing I would want out of my kids when they grow up, is just be respectful, and treat others the way you want to be treated, because you don't know what they're going with, whether it be a home or whatever the case may be.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Are there any churches that are out that way that may have websites or ways for people to donate through them?
I am, like I said, man, I'm in the works of trying to get those lists. I know that FEMA cannot interfere with anything that is going to a church. So as soon as I get all that information, I will get that and to get that shared on my group and all my other social media platforms. But I know that that's the biggest thing. You can send things to a church and they shouldn't touch it. But that's a big shouldn't.
See, that's the thing of it. You got FEMA and then you've got TEMA. For those that don't know what TEMA is, TEMA is the state organization under FEMA. So it's a military operation. Each state has their own there's a national program, and then there's a state local program. Michelle, it's Harley has a very good presence online. You'll like if you're part of any of his groups or anything, there's at least two of them that are pretty well. You got a couple of people in those groups there.
I got 5,300 on my Bigfoot group, and I think I'm almost at 100 on my Cryptic Veil group. I've kind of steered away from it a little bit. I don't know why, but I've just been focusing on other things. But I've got so much going on, and now this has been going on, and it's just like, man, when do we get a break?
Wow, yeah. You know what? I feel you there. I want to go back to the human element on this for a minute, because when you're looking from the outside in, it's very easy to get captivated by the drama of everything and to get caught up in the idea of the conspiracies and all that stuff. And it's important to know those things. But the bottom line is we're talking about human lives here. We're talking about moms and dads. We're talking about kids. We're talking about an actual community of real people. Give us some idea of what your view of Newport on a normal day would be.
Well, a normal day, traffic wouldn't be that bad. Now traffic's just horrible. People trying to get into North Carolina or go to wherever they need to go because the interstate's shut down, and it's traffic's just insane now. We sat in traffic for an hour and a half yesterday trying to get home.
In Newport, wow.
Yeah. Yep. And it's just, and just seeing the people that, don't have anything, just sitting there with their signs, saying that they're homeless, and it just melts my heart, man. Just melts my heart. And I seen a story from North Carolina. I think it was in North Carolina. There was a woman that lost her parents and her son. And they were all up on the roof, and the water rised up or something, and the roof fell in or something. And the last words that she heard from her son was, "Jesus saved me." And that just melted my heart, man. I was like, I couldn't imagine that being, that is difficult, and it just melts my heart.
Yeah. That's the thing. It's like, if we have no sense of compassion toward what's going on right now, we need to be checking ourselves, folks, because this is not okay. All right. There's a lot of things in the world that are not okay, but this is blatantly not okay. And, there's some things I can't say on YouTube right now that I really want to say, but
that money should not be going elsewhere. It needs to be coming here.
Well, no, it's not even that. You're right. The money definitely, we need to be covering our own before we cover other people, for sure. And that's not happening. We need to be very aware of the fact that your group name on Facebook again is what, Harley?
Bigfoot reports and data. It's I've got it on my little name thing right here. If you want to pop that up, it should say it. I think.
Is it?
I think it is.
It's for what is it? Hold on a second. Let me see. There we go.
Yeah, right there. I'm trying to
yeah. It's right there on the thing, Michelle. Sorry, you're this has been an interesting week for all of us. Y'all bear with me on this technology side tonight. Dude, I love technology, but I'm learning. We'll say that. It does. So we know you've got some stuff going on as far as looking toward getting together a list of places to donate to. The group that I was talking to you about today, I believe they're out of either Kansas or somewhere in those areas there, maybe Oklahoma. I get confused sometimes on the location. I'm trying to get up to Newport. Yeah. You know what? Thank you for reminding me of that. I'll bring that up in a minute too.
Oh yeah, Brian from Black Mass. Yeah, Brian.
Yeah.
Was out here. I was out in Middle Tennessee at that time, and I didn't get to meet up with him. But I've talked with Brian, and I let him know that I was okay and everything. And of course, Tony Merkel from the confessionals. They've all been in touch with me and everything. And I've just been overwhelmed by all the support and everything. And and I'm just very, very fortunate and blessed to still be here. And if I hadn't left, who wouldn't have knows what happened? I mean, it was an eye opener. That's the only thing I can say for certain. When I had a guardian angel watching over me, that's for sure.
Definitely so. I gotta tell you guys, I had an interview with Brian the other day. The very first time I met him, or didn't meet him, but very first time I saw his content, he was one of the first ones of the boots on the ground investigators that I landed on his content. I was just like, my first thought was, who is this guy? Because he has this energy that just makes you go, that guy is one in my tribe. Yeah, he's just got such an open energy about him, and it has zero ability to throw the ego in there. Like, he doesn't mind being himself.
No.
On camera and off camera. And I'm going to tell you, that was one of those interviews where it went by in a flash, because it was so easy to do because of who he is and how he is. And it was just like sitting down with somebody. And this is a guy who, like, he's got 57,000 people following him. And here I am, I'm literally just starting out. And I've talked to him a few times in his lives and so forth before, so he had some idea of my existence, but he didn't think twice about coming on and doing an interview with me. It was just like, we got this. Come on, let's do it.
Yeah.
And he came into Nashville not too long ago to bring awareness to the Sebastian Roberts.
Yeah, Sebastian Rogers.
Yeah, Rogers. Yeah. I am so tired today. Names are.
It's been one of those days, Daniel. It's been one of those days. I know.
It has been one of those weeks. I literally drove from Kentucky to Nashville to Pigeon Forge in one day, and then worked a 10-hour shift. After working a 10-hour shift. Yeah.
That's a lot of miles.
It's a lot of miles, and it's a lot of hours there was 20 hours of work and a lot of miles of driving in a 2-day period. So with all that said, though, Brian is definitely one of those people that I fully expected to see walk right into the middle of this with everything he had and just put it out there, because that's how he operates. He doesn't think about his own safety or what he's getting.
Lets it all out there. He lets it all out there, man. That's one thing I like about Brian. I mean, me and him are level-minded about all the same things, and I'm just looking forward to hitting the woods with him at some time, you know, and put our brains together and see what we can cook up, you know. And the biggest thing right now that I can ask out of the community, you know, help when you know, it doesn't. I mean, you go just get a case of water and donate it. You know, you'll help a family somewhere. You know, what's going on here right now is it's worse than what's being let on the news.
Very, very, and that's the thing of this. Unfortunately, the burden is really on the shoulders of you guys who live there to get the story out. You know, it's like it's your story. You're going to have to tell it, because the media has never been on our side. Okay.
No. There are those that won't talk about what's going on because of fear that something will happen. You know, I'm one to tell you, I don't care. I'm already on their radar. I seen one of their mutations, or whatever you want to call it, so to speak, one of these cooked up dog men. You know, I'm already on their radar. They know who I am. They know how I operate, and it's just how it is.
Yeah, and it's obvious, you know, whenever you get on the radar too. Like, I can't tell you how many times they like to frequently make sure that ID is in jeopardy and all kinds of things. My favorite thing is how many times I've had to change bank cards and all kinds of other things because it got tampered with. Oh my goodness, all the time. But you're right. We need to make sure that we're finding ways of getting at least water, if at the least, out to these guys, because that is a very precious resource, and we take it for granted all the time, because usually we can. Yeah,
I'll tell you, you can't shower in this stuff right now because people are being sent to the ERs for rashes and all kinds of other things. You know, you can't even wash your clothes in it. You can't let your dogs, pets drink the water. You know, you can't. It's just a mess. We went and got water yesterday. We got 10 cases of water, so we got enough water for now, I think.
Let me ask you this. So how many days ago did this start?
It happened last Friday. Like
right.
I said, we left, and we got back Wednesday night around 11:30, 12 o'clock. So we've just been back a full 2 days now. So.
Yeah, because I know,
and we can't even cook nothing for supper, you know, because I mean, we could use the water for that, but we're not. So we go out. We've been going out and finding places that letting people come in and eat. So
wow,
it's just a whole state of devastation out here, you know, and I just my heart breaks for the families, you know, that are not going to get closure, you know, or, you know, the ones that know that they got closure, you know, it just melts my heart.
Right, because we have to make, like, there is no way to say this enough. There are hundreds, at least hundreds of people missing right now, if not thousands. And that's the thing of it. It is unfathomable how many people were affected. We don't know yet all of the areas that were possibly affected, because there are people that were living off grid.
Yeah, and there's people still trying to get to those people. Actually, I seen a story earlier that there there was somewhere. I think it was in North Carolina that they finally reached somewhere after 3 days, and those people had been without food,
Hmm.
and it was just horrible.
Well, and, and a lot of people are like, well, you live in the mountains. There's got to be food.
Now you can't just drive down the road and go to the Dollar General. I mean, I don't care how many Dollar Generals you see driving down one of these little low back roads. I mean, you just can't be there like that. If you're
Well, and
way off the grid.
and I think a lot of people are have this image that you guys just walk out and on your back porch and shoot a possum and go eat every day or some crazy mess like that. I don't think they understand.
No. We ain't that hillbilly. We
That,
ain't that hillbilly.
Exactly. And I think that's the thing, that a lot of people are so uneducated about the area and the people. And the resources are out there, but you have to understand, like, a lot of people that live in these towns now, like, they're just like people like everybody else. They it's not like they
put their clothes on the same way we do.
Right. And it's not like these guys get handed, a handbook of how to survive in the wilderness every day. This is something you have to be taught. And, and they're smart enough to know that you can't go out and just eat anything that's crawling or walking around. And you can't just eat anything that grows out of the ground either. I mean, they're smart enough to realize this. So, it's like anybody else caught in this situation, unless you have the information in front of you to make those choices and make healthy choices about what food is available to you in nature and so forth. They're smart enough to know you just can't go pick it in nature's garden.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's not the way it works.
What happened to us the last time we went picking in the garden? Adam and Eve, they got kicked out of the garden eating. That's a prime example right there.
Right. Well, and there are some, there's just the fact that there are some plants and so forth you just can't go grabbing and taking a big bite out of. You got to know what you've got in your hand. You got to know whether you've got to prepare what parts of it you can and can't eat. There's a whole lot of factors there. And as far as game, you got to be careful about that these days too.
Oh yeah. Like, I know there's some diseases that deer get. Blue tongue isn't one of them. And if they get blue tongue, they're dead essentially. And there's just a lot of diseases that animals can carry. I wouldn't recommend eating an armadillo. They carry leprosy.
Oh God, no. Yeah.
But and that's one thing. Us people here, we're not just a bunch of rednecks or hillbillies, whatever you want to call us. We're good, down to earth people.
And in many cases, I should say, there's more common sense and knowledge passed around there by you guys than there are in. I live in Nashville Metro. I've lived in Nashville Metro and Chicago, Atlanta. You want to talk about lack of knowledge? Most of the time, that's in your bigger cities. These guys here are more in touch with the reality around them and daily life and survival than anybody that can walk down the street to a Walmart in their city. And when they're not out trying to hunt each other on the streets like they do in the cities either. These guys have a code that is much, much different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can't stand. I wouldn't live in a concrete jungle.
Okay. I want out. I do. I gotta tell you, I'm not a city person. I want out where I can grow.
Places in Knoxville. I'm sure there's plenty of places around in Knoxville for sure.
It's just the cost of property and housing right now, I've been looking in that area, even in places like, y'all, there's a place in Tennessee called No Name, and I found it in a search, and even there, the prices of land and building and so forth are getting ridiculous.
Oh, everything is.
It is.
It's insane.
The road.
It's going to get worse before it gets better.
It will. It definitely will. Unfortunately, we have to figure out a way to push back enough to be able to get through to help people. I do believe, like you were saying, the churches are going to be our first defense as far as being able to get supplies to people and money to people, because irregardless of what anybody's thinking right now, and let me tell you guys something, because there's this tendency for people to be like, well, I don't have money right now, it costs a lot. Well, it does, but we have the means to be able to make more money right now. Money is a recyclable resource. It is something that's renewable. It is needed, definitely, but these guys have got kids, and they've got, Harley's a young dude, guys. He's got his whole life ahead of him. Yeah. He's not just got kids. He literally, what are you, like 20, 23, 24?
I'm 24.
Yeah. 24 years old. So he's got a whole life ahead of him. We need to think about the human element here a little bit, and and get away from the self for a minute and think about if it was me in that situation, what would I want? Well, you would want help.
I seen something earlier, and there were some kids from somewhere, and they were walking around, and they were asking people if they'd seen their mommies and daddies, and and
oh, dear God,
it just breaks my heart, hearing stories like that. And if you don't feel sorry for that, I mean, there's something wrong with somebody. If it's the kids just walking around asking for their mommies and daddies, and it's just horrible, man. And I couldn't imagine, I just couldn't. Everything that's just going on here, it just doesn't seem like it's happening in a way, but it is, and it's affecting anybody and everybody here.
Yeah, that's the thing of it. We can, Janice, we can all on some level relate to these guys as people. Like I said, some of these folks, I mean, I service a grocery chain in their areas. So some of these folks are people who I work with, their kin folks. I probably have worked with some of them before in some shape, form, or fashion. All of those of us who are Smokey fans, have been out that way at least once or twice, right? We know the area, we know the people, we know everything but how dire the situation really is right now. And that's part of why Harley is on here right now. And why I'm on here right now is to get the point across to people that this is really a dire situation here. It's not, a bunch of people sitting around just going, whoa, poor pitiful me. This is people who got stuck in a situation, a very bad situation, that literally, I mean, you think about it, when I heard what was going on, which was about a day and a half after the fact, I was like, but these guys were up in the mountains. How is this happening? And I had to actually go on and see video of what to wrap my head around it, because we think about it, the water travels down. We don't really understand when you have that much water coming down that quickly. Are you okay, Harley?
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm fine. It's just everything. Everything is just.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot. I reach out to you frequently from time to time to check on you because I know, like, honestly, dude, like being a dad in this day and time, and a dad who invested in their child and their children, like that's so rare, so very rare. That those of you guys who are dads invested in their children, I reach out to you guys a lot and just to see how you're doing, because just that alone it's a hard walk to walk, guys. I am not a dad, but I've known some, and I gotta tell you, it's a very interesting situation when a grown man walks up to you with tears in his eyes going, dude, I got to talk about today. And on a personal level, whether you're a parent or not, you can relate to this somehow. You can relate to the stories of men who, are just broken, dealing with the daily issues, just the daily issues that happen, not just the big stuff like this.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah,
but I mean,
trust me, I held it all in as long as I can. And like, I melted down yesterday, dude. Like, I broke down on my knees and I let it all out. And it's just unbelievable everything that's happening here. And it just blows my mind that people are being stopped for coming in and trying to help. And it's just unbelievable.
Right. It's unbelievable. It's not unexpected. That's the thing. I mean, we've been watching this happen. We've been watching the progression of this happening for years now. For years. Like I said, I remember watching the devastation from 1973 and thinking to myself, even as a kid, something is not right here. This is not natural, to have that happen. And then now seeing everything that's going on and seeing the arrogance of the government in all of this, and I'm just going to call it what it is. It's arrogance. It's arrogance, and it's deceitful, and it's wrong.
It's very wrong. And if people can't see that, it's just ignorance on their part.
It is a blatant attack on working class people.
Oh, yeah.
So let that sink in for a minute.
Yep.
And if they're doing that here, what are they going to do next?
Where are they going to do it next? It's exactly right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Because you think about it. So now the big story in Nashville is they're building this building that's going to tower over the Batman building. And earlier this year, they were talking about the last couple of years, they've been singing the praises of Amazon bringing their facility to Nashville. And yet you have more and more people that are becoming homeless on a daily basis because they can't afford to live in Nashville any longer. People that grew up here, people who are literally losing everything, and they're working people. I mean, I've worked with some of these people that, they're taking every job they can get to try to pay their bills. And the cities are literally trying to push out everything that is not money. If you are not part of a multi-million-dollar establishment that's going to bring in even more to an area, they are literally pushing people out. So think about what's going on in all the neighborhoods all the time. And I had somebody yesterday ask me in another live, am I telling you not to vote? I know I'm telling you to vote, but understand that regardless of who or what side you're on, there's still a potential on either side to not trust the government, because you're talking about putting one person in charge, but there are 20 more standing behind them, backstabbing them the whole time. Yeah. So be mindful of that. Be mindful of that, very much so.
And Harley, I would encourage to pick the lesser evil.
Yes, Lord, please. The lesser evil. I love that you said that.
The lesser evil. If that's what I'm putting down.
I mean, it really is. It really is. Unfortunately, it is the lesser evil at this point. Yeah.
Sorry, Gabby.
No. Let them do them. It's okay. It's okay.
I feel breadstick.
No, you can eat that, baby. I'm busy. Thank you. Thank you. Stop it.
Did I see that?
Yes, Daniel seen it.
It's okay. It's okay. You need a little comic relief right now.
Oh, yeah. Stop. Quit being mean to me. Yeah. The comedy is kicking in now, folks.
I'm fixing to drink some more whiskey.
Okay. Drink your whiskey.
But I'm going to wait till you're done so you can go get out of the car.
What?
There's your keys. I don't know where my keys are.
Okay. All right. I love you. Lord, I don't know what to do without my wife. She keeps me sane.
Right. And see that this is what I'm talking about the human element here, though, guys. It's like these are everyday normal people that we're talking about that are affected by this. And I'm sorry, let's talk about statistics right now for a second, just a second here. Statistically, a good marriage these days is a very rare thing. So I love to see whenever I see a man who says, I don't know what I would do without her, and is so devoted to his family. It makes that we have very precious gifts in front of us that we need to be helping and protecting right now. And I think that's where it is for me, is understanding the value of the people who we're talking about. And that it is a very big deal. I am absolutely, I'm reserving right now a lot of things because that's my nature. But off camera, I'm going to tell you, I am so glad that I have the opportunity to be off camera and out of the public eye for a bit the next 2 days. Because frankly, I've got a lot of anger issues right now over this whole thing that I need to deal with. Because like I said, I mean, it has affected even people there that I do not know and would not know their names if I passed them in town. I consider East Tennessee my home, even though I don't live there, even though I'm not part of it. I work there. I work among you guys. I know your spirit. And more importantly, I don't just know your spirit, I know your hearts. And that's where it's very difficult for me at times right now to not want to do something. I was like, today, I was like, you know what? What's the least I can do? You know, help them get the information out there. Just help them get the information out there right now. You'll figure out the rest later.
The information needs to be out, and that's the biggest thing.
Right. Well, and again, so here's what we're talking about right now. Our people that are supposedly, like, we've elected them into office. We pay their salaries. We literally support their entire livelihoods, are not allowing us to get in to help these guys. They're cutting off an entire section. And if you want a good idea of how large of a section we're really talking about, there's a photograph floating around on Facebook, I know right now, of before and after pictures of the lights at night in the areas that are affected. And it's not a small area.
No, it's like over 1 million people, I think.
It's gone dark in a very large area, 2 large areas. It's gone completely dark. And when you let that when you wrap your head around that, and you see just how far in this devastation goes, I can't wrap my head around it. I really can't.
No, it's hard to. It really is. I still try to wrap my head around it every day since this happened.
Every day. Well, yeah, and you're right there in the middle of it.
Mm-hmm.
So Harley's going to start gathering information up about places that we can send to. I'm going to probably bug you a little bit throughout the week for a few days to make sure you guys are okay. And
oh, good. Yeah, it's fine. I mean, we're overwhelmed by all the love and support that we've gotten from everybody.
Yeah. Oh, is that your buddy?
Oh yeah, this is my little future Squatch dog. Whenever she gets bigger, I'm gonna start taking her out with me.
She loves her dad. Wow, look at that. She is just absolutely. This is her spot. This is her spot. Wow. Yeah, and I would just want to say this too. I came from another platform to this platform, and when I first got here, I was not really sure what to expect because the other platform was not. It was very toxic. I'll say that it was very toxic. I got over here, and I was just like, "Wow, this is different," because I have never met a group of people like it. The content creators and the podcasters over here it's a fantastic community. Like, you guys have, like, some of you have never even met face to face. And, it's amazing the community that is growing here and that has developed here online on this platform, especially in the paranormal community. And the platform I came from, that was literally the most toxic of all of them over there on that platform. because they were all in competition. But over here, it's not a competition. It's about sharing.
Exactly right.
You know, and I got to tell you guys, this is probably the best community of people I've ever come across on a platform. And I'm grateful for that. You know, Barb and I was talking yesterday on her live. She's just been absolutely beside herself about how you guys are doing. Are you okay? Da, da, da. So she lives for any update she gets from you guys, as we all do. If there's any way, anything that we need to do or advice you have for us throughout, not just tonight, but throughout the coming weeks, because this is going to be a long process, please share it out to us. I know you've got a lot on your plate right now.
Yeah, you know, and I just want to encourage everybody, you know, keep all of us here in Appalachia in your thoughts and prayers. And if you're able to help out and donate, please do. I'm still working on a list of all the places that are taking donations that will be able to take donations without being cut off or stopped by FEMA, TEMA, whoever the case may be. I will have those lists and I will get those to Daniel. And just if you feel like giving help, please help out, you know, because this whole community, this whole Appalachian strong trend is going around, and just keep the help coming. I mean, because it needs to be here.
Yeah, it definitely does. Okay. I'm going to, Harley, if you'll hang on for a moment, I'm going to drop you out and we're going to wrap this up, but I want to touch base with you before we leave out and throw a couple of ideas your way, and maybe you can throw a couple of ideas my way on a couple of things. I'll be back with you in just a moment.
Alrighty, sounds good. I just want to thank everybody for tuning in. And if you're catching up on this, thank you for tuning in. Share this video, get it out there. And thank you all, and God bless.
Thank you. I really appreciate you coming on tonight, and I'll be right back with you. Okay, guys, there you have it. I am so appreciative of Harley spending some time tonight, really giving us an idea, firsthand idea of what's going on the ground there. I am just, you have no idea. It's taking everything I can right now to stay composed. Anyway, thank you guys for coming on. Thank you guys for viewing this after the fact as well. And I will see you again soon. And always, always, may your journey always be magical.